So dear students, already we learned regarding the passive transport. So passive transport mechanism is concerned with the movement of the substances from high concentration to the lower concentrations along with the chemical gradient or electrical gradients. But active transport, it is completely opposite to the passive transport. Okay, where the substance will be moved from lower concentration to the higher concentrations against the chemical or electrical or both gradients, okay, where the substance will be moved from lower concentration to the higher concentrations. And here the active transport, it can require the energy, so in the form of the ATP. So that's why ATP is the most important bioenergetic molecule. It was required for the transport of the substances from lower concentration to the higher concentration. And active transport is also known as the uphill transport. And regarding the in the poisoning cases, so active transport is inhibited, so during the poisoning cases, but passive transport still it is involved in the movement of the substances, because in the poisoning cases, so ATP is not produced in the body. So due to lack of ATP, the active transport is not possible. So that's why in the case of burning, so where the therapy is not achieved that much of the success due to lack of the energy or ATP in the patients, because so drug molecules and glucose and certain electrolytes, so they are transported in our body maximally by following the active transport. And active transport, so they require energy, but in the burning cases the energy is not available. So that's why the treatment of burning cases or handling of the burning patient is a critical, so where that much you cannot achieve the success because of only so lack of the energy. If the patients having energy good level or the bioenergetic molecules are well generated in the patients, so then the active transport is active, so then it is was involved in the transport of the substances from lower concentration to the higher concentrations. Okay, so here the active transport, so they are mainly classified into two types, that is primary active transport. It concerned with the transport or movement of the substances related to the single molecules. Okay, only one molecule can be transported from lower concentration to the higher concentration, so with the use of ATP. Okay, but secondary active transport, so here the two molecules simultaneously they are transported. Okay, so either in the same directions or maybe in the opposite directions. For example, sodium potassiums. Okay, first sodium can be transported, so later on the potassium can be transported, or sodium glucose. Okay, first the sodium is transported, certain energy was created or developed, so that ATP was helpful for the movement of the glucose. So such transport was known as a secondary active transport. And secondary active transport is also transported a molecule with the help of the carrier protein. Certain proteins are there, so they are present in the plasma membranes. So those protein substances are, that is acts as a carrier proteins or integral protein, so they are helpful for the movement of the substances from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid or intracellular fluid into the extracellular fluid. So like that the active transport, so they are mainly classified into two types, that is primary active transport as well as the secondary active transport. So first we learn about primary active transport. So here do nothing but the transport of the substances from low concentration to the high concentrations against chemical or electrical or both gradient. Chemical means, so their concentrations. Okay, so where they are transported from lower concentration to the higher, because always the molecule can transport it along with the chemical gradient, that is from high concentration to the low concentration. But in active transport, where the molecule can be transported against the concentration gradient, that is from low concentration to the high concentrations. And as well as regarding electrical, certain charges are present on the molecules. Okay, so due to that charges, the positive charge molecule is always transported towards the negative environment, and negative charge molecule always transported towards the positive charge environment. So already you know that is regarding the internal environment and as well as the external environment of the cell. The cell inside, that is internal environment, is also known as the cytoplasma or intracellular environment or intracellular fluid. So that environment will be having the negative environment, and outside the cell, so that should be the extracellular fluid or external environment. So that environment will be having the positive charge. Okay, so like that, so that environment is known as electrical gradient. So here the in the active transport or in the primary active transport where also the molecule can be transported opposite to the electrical gradients. Okay, so that's why, so they are require the energy. So in the primary active transport, so energy is obtained directly from breakdown of the ATP. So ATP is the energy molecules or whatever biochemical reactions are occurs in our body. So they are produces the energy. For example, glycolysis or TCA cycle or breakdown of fats or beta oxidation. So they are producing more ATP or energy. So that energy was stored in the form of the ATP. So that ATP, whatever the produces during the glycolysis or breakdown of the fat, so that ATP is required for the primary active transport. So that's why, so that ATP during the transport of substances, it can break down ADP into phosphate, the energetic molecules. So that phosphate molecule containing the energy, it produces energy. So that energy was helpful for the movement of the substances from low concentration to the, okay. So ATP molecule can be break down ADP into phosphate, and phosphate is a energetics or energy rich molecule. So that is helpful for the movement of the substance. For example, sodium and potassium pump. Okay, sodium, it can transport it from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. Okay, so that is here it is the extracellular fluid or extracellular environment, and this is the intracellular environment. And extracellular environment always having the positive charge or positive environment, and internal environment is also having always having the negative environment. Okay, so here the sodium always present high concentration in the outside the cell and low concentration in inside cells, and as well as the potassium highly found in the cytoplasma or inside the intracellular fluid and less in the outside. But during the active transport or primary active transport, first the sodium molecule can be transported from positive environment to the negative environment, but in the same time the potassium ion, it is also having the positive charge. Okay, so where the potassium can be moving out of cell, so against the electrical gradient. Okay, so potassium can be moved against the electrical gradient, so that's why it requires some ATP. Okay, so that's why it is known as the primary active transport, where they can follow the movement of substances from low concentration to high concentration against the chemical or electrical or both gradient. So here the first the sodium molecule can be moved then from positive environment to the negative environment, but inside the cytoplasma the potassium is present, it is also considered as the positive molecule. But as per law, so there is no need to leave the potassiums, but due to active transfer present in your body, so this potassium can be moved from inside to the outside, from intracellular fluid to the extracellular fluid against the electrical gradient. Okay, so that's why it can require the energy in the form of the ATP. And the primary active transport is helpful for the movement of sodium inside to outside and outside to inside, as well as the movement of the potassium outside the cell as well as inside, then as well as calcium, then as well as the chloride. So sodium, potassium, calcium and chloride, so they are moved from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid or intracellular fluid into the extracellular fluid by the mechanism primary active transport. So these molecules, so they are moved through a certain channels or enzymes. So those are present in the plasma membranes with the help of the integral protein or with the help of the peripheral protein. So those are acts as the certain channels or enzymes. So here the sodium potassium ATPase, it is helpful for the movement of sodium and potassium or exchange of sodium that are with the potassium, and as well as sodium potassium pump, it is also helpful for exchange of sodium as well as exchange that of with the potassium. Then hydrogen pump in the stomach and kidney, it is helpful for the movement of the hydrogen or protons. Certain calcium channels are there, chloride channels are also present in the plasma membranes, so they are also move inside the cell as well as outside the cells through a primary active transport by utilizations of the energy in the form of the ATP, or that ATP can be break down into ADP and phosphate. So where they release certain energy, so that energy was helpful for the movement of the substances. So next one is the secondary active transport. So as the name indicates, simultaneously, so two molecules can be transported, okay, with the help of the certain carrier proteins, may be same direction, may be opposite direction, and such movement of substances from low concentration to the high concentration, either same direction or opposite direction, and such process are known as the secondary active transport. It means it is one type of the active transport, so where the molecule can be moved from low concentration to the high concentrations, okay, but simultaneously two molecules will be transported, and it is also require the energy. So the energy is obtained not from ATP. So for primary active transport, the source of energy is breakdown of ATP. For secondary active transport, the source of energy is the first molecule can be moved either inside or outside. It can cross the plasma membrane. So due to that, the plasma membrane permeability can be changes. It can create certain energy. Okay, so that energy is utilized or helpful for the movement of the second molecules. For example, sodium glucose co-transport. Okay, first the sodium molecule will move from positive environment to the negative environment, or from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. Already you know the sodium is always high concentration in the extracellular fluid and low concentration in the intracellular fluid or in the cytoplasma. So during the stimuli or when cell want to start to work, so on that time certain environment was changes, okay, so where the sodium can be moved from positive environment to the negative environment with the help of the sodium channels or sodium leak channels or many other channels are there. So those are responsible for the movement of the sodium from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. So due to movement of sodium or due to movement of positive ion through a plasma membrane, it can create certain energy. Okay, so that energy, it is helpful for the movement of the glucose from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. So here certain carrier proteins are there, certain integral proteins are there. So those integral protein first, so they are bind with the molecule want to allow to enter into the cytoplasma. Then that molecule, that carrier protein, it can bind with the glucose and live into the cytoplasma. So that's why the secondary active transport was done with the help of the carrier proteins. So like that, so the carrier protein, so it is helpful for the movement of the substances from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. So now we learn regarding the carrier proteins. So they are used in the secondary active transport. So carrier proteins are nothing but, so these are the component of plasma membranes or biological membrane. Okay, so these are made up of the integral protein. So these carrier proteins, so they are helpful for the movement of the substances. And same carrier protein, it can allow the movement of the both molecules. Okay, for example, that is the sodium glucose co-transport. The first sodium molecule can be transported with the help of the same carrier protein or with the help of, that is the help of the electrical gradient. Then same protein molecule, it can, or carrier protein, it can transport the glucose. Okay, so here whatever the carrier proteins, so they are involved in the secondary active transport. So they are mainly classified into three types, that is uniporters, symporters and antiporters. So uniporters means, so they can allow, they can carry the one specific ion or molecule. Okay, so what are carrier proteins? So they can transport only one molecule. Okay, either inside the cell or either outside the cell, and such carrier proteins are known as the uniporters. So these can transport it certain substances like glucose or maybe amino acids or maybe any there are there. So those are water soluble substances, because that is a biological membrane, it is made up of the lipid bilayer. It only allows the entry of lipid soluble substances, but maximum biomolecule in our body, so they are the polar, so they are the water soluble. Okay, so they do not cross the plasma membranes or biological membrane, only their passes with the help of the channels or with the help of the receptors or with the help of the carrier proteins. Okay, so like that certain carrier proteins are there, so they only transport the specific molecules and ion, only one at a time, and such molecules, proteins, are known as the uniporter carriers. And regarding the symporter, so two different molecules or ions can be transported in the same direction. Okay, first, so the A molecule can transported from extracellular fluid into intracellular fluid, it creates certain energy. So that energy is helpful for the transport of the another molecule, that is the B. So such transport mechanisms or such proteins are known as the symport carriers, and that mechanism was known as the symport transport, where two molecules can be transported from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid in the same directions. Okay, example is for symporter, that is sodium glucose co-transport. First sodium transported, after that it create energy, so that energy was helpful for the movement of the glucose from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. Or sodium amino acid co-transporter, that is the movement of sodium, after that the movement of amino acids. Then as well other example for symporter is the sodium chloride co-transport, as well as sodium ferric co-transport, and as well as sodium urate co-transport. And third one is, that is the antiporter carriers. So here, so these also carries the two different ions or molecules in opposite directions. One inside the cell and another is the outside the cells. Okay, such mechanism was known as the antiport mechanism. And what are the proteins? So those are involved in the antiport mechanism, and such are known as the antiporter carriers. So for example here, first the A molecule can be transported from extracellular fluid into the intracellular fluid. Due to transportations of that molecule, it can create certain energy. So that energy was helpful for the leaving out of the B molecule, that is from inside cell to the outside the cells. So the molecule can be moved simultaneously but in the opposite directions, and such mechanisms are known as the antiporter mechanism. And your example is the sodium calcium counter transport. Okay, for example, so in the cardiac muscle, so there is need to contract the cardiac muscles. Okay, so due to that, first stimuli reaches to the cardiac cell, then sodium can enter inside the cardiac cells. It creates the positive charge. Then, so that sodium can be exchanged. So that of with the calcium. Sodium leave from the cell and calcium can be entered inside the cells. Okay, and such mechanisms was known as the antiporter mechanism. That is the sodium calcium co-transport or sodium hydrogen counter transports. Sorry, that is the sodium calcium counter transport, as well as another example is the sodium hydrogen counter transport. So during the acid base balance, first sodium enter, then hydrogen can be ion can be enter outside cells. Okay, for the maintenance of the acid base balance. So next one is the special type of active transport. Once again, so there are three types, that is the endocytosis, exocytosis and transcytosis. So regarding endocytosis, so that is the entry of the macromolecule inside the cells. Okay, so that process was known as the endocytosis. That is, certain molecules or macromolecules from the extracellular fluid, so they are enter inside the cell, and such mechanism was known as the endocytosis. Once again, the endocytosis, so they are sub-classified into three types, that is the pinocytosis, phagocytosis and receptor mediated endocytosis. So regarding pinocytosis, it is also known as a cell drinking. That is, cell, it can engulf the bacteria and antigenic substances from blood into the inside the cells, or from circulation into the inside the cells. So where the cell, it can be drink regarding the bacteria or antigenic substances. So those are responsible for to cause of the disease. If this mechanism was failed means, so then only the person is suffering from the chronic diseases or disorder or diseases. And that phenomena was known as the pinocytosis, where certain foreign materials or antigenic substances or bacteria, so they enter from outside to the inside the cells. Okay, so where also they require the ATP. Okay, so that's why if the person's having energy level less, so those person only, so they are suffering from the disorders. For example, the COVID-19. So everyone, people, they are wondering the environment. Okay, or the same family members, few members they are COVID positive and few members are there negative, but they are living together in the same home. You can observe. So those are COVID positive, so their energy level in the body is less. So they are weak. Always they are suffering from fatigue. Okay, they are old or they are young. But those are adult, so those are healthy, so they are free from the COVID-19 because in their body the energy level was rich, ATP molecules or bioenergetic molecules are rich, so they are support to the cells to initiate the pinocytosis. Because pinocytosis is also one type of or special type of active transport, it is also required energy. If any bacteria or antigenic substance they are entering the blood means, so those cells can be drink, so they can be engulfed. Okay, then so they keep us free from the disorder. So that's why energy level in the body, that is most important to keep us free from the various kind of the disorders. Okay, next one is the phagocytosis. It is also referred as the cell eating. So larger molecule or larger particles, so they can be engulfed by a cell or taken by a cell. So that process was known as the phagocytosis or cell eating any larger molecules, maybe microorganisms, maybe proteinous substance, so they create the problem to the our health or our body. So such are also removed by a process, that process was known as the phagocytosis. And also entry of the hormones, certain molecule inside a cell, so that process is also known as the phagocytosis. Next one is the receptor mediated endocytosis. Okay, once again, so integral protein and peripheral protein, so those are present in the plasma proteins, that is plasma membranes or biological membranes. So those are acts as a receptors. Receptors are nothing but these are peptide or macromolecule, so they can give the space to the drugs or certain substances, and those substances bind on the these receptors and involved in the to change the permeability of the membranes. Okay, any ligand bind on these receptor and they allow the endocytosis. Okay, and such mechanism is known as the receptor mediated endocytosis. So next one is the exocytosis. It is also special type of active transport, so where the substance can be expelled from the cell. Cell, it is one of the compartment, it was involved in synthesis of various hormones, enzymes, secretions, proteins. So those are required by the another part cells. and due to that, that cell can be release the substances, okay, into the our circulation. So that process was known as the exocytosis, and exocytosis process is mainly depending upon the calcium. Okay, first the calcium is accumulated inside the cell, then cell is shrinkage, because calcium, it can cause the contractions of cell or it can decrease the size of the cell. So that is known as the shrinkage of cell. So due to decrease size of cell, so water substances, so they are present or secreted or synthesized in the cell, so they are expelled out. They are due to shrinkage, decrease size of cell, what is this substance directly enter into your blood. So that process was known as the exocytosis, and exocytosis is helpful for the release of hormones, okay, from cell into the our blood, and those hormones enter into the different part of the body or different organs, then they regulate the various functions. So that's why exocytosis is helpful for release of the micromolecules, hormones, enzymes, substance into the circulations, okay, regulations of the growth or any biochemical reactions. Next one is the transcytosis. It is also special type of active transport. So where the molecule can be moved one side of the cell to the another side. Okay, it is a cell. So here that molecule albumin is present. So that albumin is enter into the another part of the cells, another end of the cells. So that process was known as the transcytosis. Okay, so for example, so albumin, it is present in the blood or inside the blood vessels. So that albumin crosses the wall of the blood vessels, and blood vessels is also made up of the cells. One face of the cell facing towards the blood, that is lumen, and another face or end of the cell, it was facing the endothelial space or space between the cells or tissues. So where albumin, it is required for the repairing process of the cell or required for the organelles for various metabolic functions or synthesis of various proteins, enzymes and hormones. So where albumin from blood, it enter to the another end of the cell. So with the help of the certain vacuoles or secretory vesicles or certain carrier protein, so that process was known as the transcytosis. Or for example, that is the entry of the micronutrients from the GIT into the blood. Between the GIT wall is present. So that GIT wall is consist of, it is made up of the cell. So where micronutrients like glucose, fructose, galactose, amino acids, triglyceride, cholesterol from the lumen or from the GIT, so they are enter into the blood vessel by crossing the cell of the GIT. So that process is also known as the transcytosis. So these are the special type of the active transport. So those are also helpful for the movement of the substances. Okay, next one is the, so review regarding the transport mechanism. So already you learn regarding the simple diffusion. So simple diffusion, that is the transport of material from high concentration to the low concentration without any energy. So that's what is known as the downhill transport mechanism. So it is helpful for movement of small molecules. So those size is less than 400 dalton, and these are also helpful for movement of the non-polar or lipid soluble substances. And this process, it does not require any kind of the energy. Okay, if it is abnormal, simple diffusion is more, or it is abnormal, then it was responsible for the development of disease like a pulmonary edema. If any alterations, due to alteration, the what is the fluid is present inside cell that cannot be excreted, or if it is excess leakage of fluid from intracellular fluid, because already you know 70 kg persons having about 42 liters. Among 42 liters, around 22 liters, so they are present inside the cells. Okay, so that fluid can be moved with the help of the simple diffusion inside and outside. Okay, if any abnormalities in the simple diffusion, then more fluid can be released into the our extracellular space or outside the cells. So where that particular part can be swell. Same condition is occurs in the lungs also. So that was known as the pulmonary edema. So due to any entry of the dust or allergen into the lungs, so those are irritate the normal functions of cell. Due to that, whatever the intercellular fluid are there, they can be leak out. So those are responsible to cause of the pulmonary edema or any swelling or any inflammations. Second one is the facilitated diffusion. It is also helpful for movement of substances from high concentration to the low concentration. So with the help of the carrier proteins, but there is no energy is required. Okay, so this facilitated diffusion or carrier mediated facilitated diffusion is helpful for the movement of polar substances or larger ions. Okay, if any abnormality in the facilitated diffusion, then the person was suffering from the diabetes mellitus type 2, that is the GLUT4 deficiency. So GLUT4 is the one channels or pores, they are made up of the integral protein, and GLUT4 is helpful for the movement of the glucose from extracellular fluid into the inside the cells. Then only glucose is metabolized, then only we are free from the diabetes mellitus. Okay, so that glucose enter inside the cells through a GLUT4 carrier proteins or channels. So with the help of the facilitated diffusions. Okay, if any problem in the facilitated diffusion on the GLUT4 channels or carrier proteins, then the sugar cannot enter or glucose cannot enter inside the cells. So then the person is suffering from the diabetes mellitus type 2. So that's why any malfunctions in the facilitated diffusion, that person was responsible for suffering from the diabetes mellitus type 2. Then third one is the transport mechanism, that is the primary active transport. Okay, so it is helpful for movement of substance against the gradient from low concentration to high concentration. It requires energy, so that energy is obtained from the hydrolysis of the ATP. ATP is a bioenergetic molecules. Okay, it requires energy. Okay, example is the sodium potassium pump and as well as the proton pump. If it is any abnormalities in the sodium potassium pump or proton pump, then the person was suffering from the acid fibrillation, that is atrial fibrillation and acid reflux. Okay, then the acid will be from the stomach, it can enter toward the esophagus, or it can increase the heart rate more than 300. So that condition was known as the atrial fibrillation due to abnormalities in the sodium potassium pump. It can, due to abnormalities are deficient, so more sodium can enter inside the cardiac cell. Due to that, the heart rate is increases. So that condition was known as the atrial fibrillations. Or due to entry of more hydrogen ion through a proton pump, then more acid can be secreted. So that can reflux towards the esophagus, towards the heart. So due to that, if any abnormality is active transport in these pump, then the various disorders can be causes. Next one is the secondary active transport. It is helpful for movement of two molecule. It requires energy along with the carrier proteins. Okay, these are also moving against the electrical gradient or chemical gradient or both gradient. It is also required the energy. So example is the sodium calcium exchanger and as well as SgL2, that is sodium glucose co-transport. Okay, first sodium enter, then glucose can be enters. If any problem in the here, then also the person is suffering from the diabetes mellitus type 2. Okay, so that's why the transport mechanism any abnormalities, so then also responsible to cause of the various kind of the disorders.